This story, Fréchette adds in a footnote, is a widely believed Quebec folk tale. I just want to make that point that there's misinterpretation of history on both sides of the linguistic border in Canada. Now, we get into another funny story here, although it's a sad, funny one. The Cadot's son, Jean-Baptiste Cadot, was admitted to a partnership in the Northwest Company in 1801, and Jean-Baptiste, of course, had studied in Montreal and was a literate for those days, a human being. He was expelled from the Northwest Company in 1803, 2 years later, for drunkenness. And I find that awesome. I mean, when you read the stories of the Northwest Company's meetings, they put my little dinner club to shame. But how anybody could get expelled for drunkenness from that, I don't understand. Yeah, he was. The date of the elder Cadot's death is unknown, but it might have been as late as 1812. The name remains widespread in the Canadian and American West, with at least one town, several parks, several features of landscape, and innumerable descendants retaining the name in both countries. The 9th generation of Cadots now lives and prospers in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Not on the English side. There are a couple on the English side, but not so many. Okay? So there I put that one in to suggest to you that the life in the Pays d'en Haut is far more complex and far more sympathetic to the intermarriage and far more related in education and raising of families and so on to the traditions of Quebec and to the literate traditions than the books have suggested. Now, I agree that Cadot is not one of the subalterns. I mean, he was a well-off man and a very successful one, but there were others like that. And I will just mention one more before I stop, and that's Charles-Michel Langlade, who I believe is also on your list here. Yes, there he is. And he was interesting. He was the son of a French officer and an Indian woman. He became an officer in the French and then the British Army. He fought bravely for the British, and he wound up where his fur trading post had been on the Baie des Tuons, Green Bay, where he was now. And he was a hero. After the American Revolution, the British gave him a land grant of 3,000 acres in the Thames River Valley in Ontario. He didn't take it up. He stayed in Green Bay. And he also had a life annuity of $800 a year, which was approximately 10 times an average working man's wages at the time. But he was a prosperous man, and they call him often the founder of Wisconsin nowadays. And I shall leave that at that. There's some more to the story, but again, I want to suggest that something quite good happened up there, and it was really the end of the canoe as the main means of transportation, which really happened long after Louis Riel was a mature man. And it was, the railway of course took it over, and it was the United States getting the land south of the lakes after the War of 1812-14 that disrupted this trade. By 1812, just ignoring the war, there was a pretty coherent French culture and settlements, including a lot of agriculture, all the way from New Orleans up the Mississippi, around the bottom of the Great Lakes, to Detroit and actually beyond, and then going up some of the hinterland rivers of the Mississippi. But I'll leave it at that.